Everybody, come on in. Come on in. Welcome. Welcome to this. Make 2022 extraordinary. Your live training. I'm going to give people a moment to get that notification, to come on in. Cannot wait to get started. We've got such a great session for you today. We're going to cover a lot. We've got a lot to cover in this lunch and learn, this hour. But man, is it going to be worth it. So just giving a moment for people to come on in, introduce yourself, say hi. This is going to be an interactive session. There's going to be plenty for you to be writing down, lots of questions to ask yourself and insights as a result. So come on in, and then we're going to get started in just a minute so that we can get through it all. You know me, I love to over deliver, and I like to get as much value in there for you as possible. So there's no loose ends. And that's definitely what we're going to be doing today. So as all the notifications come in today, always gone live. Kelly Cornish in the house. I'm giving you a wave. Welcome, my love. Come on in. Say hi. Looking forward to this. We're just getting people to come on in, and then we will get started. Because, like I said, we got a lot to cover in this hour. I'm loving it. It's a lunch and learn, right? I'm encouraging you to take a break, get away from everything else that you're doing, and have a lunch. In this world of busyness and craziness, then often we neglect the simple things in life. So I'm encouraging you to bring your lunch, take a break, bring your pens, your papers. If you've got the resources that I've put in the group, that would be really helpful. Got those? If you open up another tab and print them off. Sebta is in the house. Hello, my love. Great stuff. Saying hi. I'm loving it. I would give you a wave, but it hasn't given me the button. So welcome. So yeah, if you've got the resources, great. If you haven't, it's no problem. We're going to talk you through it. It just makes it all in one place, and it's nice and clear. There's a process for you to follow. So, breathe. You excited? You excited? You excited about 2022? Man, new year. I always like this kind of time of year. It's a fresh year. A fresh year when we can decide how we're going to play it, what we're going to improve on. And that's what this is all about. And we're going to get a little bit conventional, and then we're going to get a little bit unconventional. And we're going to put it all together to make sure you are crystal clear on what it is that you want to work on, that you are crystal clear on the passion and the purpose, that you got that deep, meaningful why this is really important that you improve on things, and then how you're actually going to go about doing it. So this is not about a New Year's resolution that fades after 2 weeks. I mean, just think about it. For most people's New Year's resolutions, with good intention, on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, by this point they've already gone. They've already faded. So this is about making sure that we've thought it through to such an extent, not overcomplicating it, but we passionately know what it is that we want, and we're passionate enough to actually go and see it through. This is where the heart is. This is, a lot of people say, oh, I wish it would happen, or I'm improve on this, and my dream is this. But then their actions don't follow that up, and therefore they don't get the result they want. And it's heartbreaking, because there's a massive intention there to actually improve their life, but then they don't. And so this session is really for all the people out there that maybe sometimes commit to something and then don't follow through. Or they've got an idea of what it is, but they know that maybe in 2 months' time, it's going to kind of fade. Or maybe they haven't got clarity. They're kind of looking around and going, you know what, I do want last year to be better, this year to be better than last year, but I'm just not quite sure. So we're going to cover 3 steps now, and we're going to get going. So I know there's going to be live viewers, there's going to be people coming in through the session, there's going to be replayers. So let's get started. So the first step 1, if we were trying to do this very traditionally, we'd go, step 1, what is it you want to work on? Right, and how are we going to work on it? And you can point it down to being really simple like that. But I want us to take a step back. I want us to take a step back first, because sometimes we can oversimplify our life and miss things. And so this first step is all about a tool that is really well known in the coaching world. But I've also found that different people use it in different ways. Lucy is in the house. We've just got started, so come on in. Grab your pens, your papers, your worksheets. I've given you a wave. We've literally just started. So step one, we're going to use this tool called, if you've got your resources in front of you, you'll see it, the Wheel of Life. Now, for some of you, you know this model, but I find that some people use it in different ways. Some people have got different categories on it, and some people don't use it at all. Now, how I'm going to help you, if you haven't got the resource in front of you, if you've got the resource in front of you, it'll look a little bit like this. Oh, that's pretty, right? Now you're thinking, no, I haven't got that printed out, I want that. So, it's going to look a little bit like that. What I want you to do, and I've simplified this because basically this is about categories of life. Usually people say, I've got work and I've got life. And okay, as an oversimplification, that kind of works, but there's so much more to it. And what it does is it overweights work at the detriment of so many other things. So on a traditional Wheel of Life, you might have like 12 categories of life, and work is just one. So this first step is really about stepping back and getting some perspective on life. So if you've got it in front of you, you've got it. If you haven't, here's one I prepared earlier. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, that's right. It's not often I get the old flip chart thing out. So look, all I want to do, if you haven't got it, draw a circle on your page. And I've made this really simple, because if I said, now cut it into 12 segments, you'd go, and I go, oh damn, I got 8. And then you go, this, and then it would get all awkward and it would look weird. So I've boiled it down to 8 categories. So I just want you to draw a circle, a line down the middle, a line across, and then 2 diagonals. So it looks like this. So you've got 8 segments of life. Okay, and we're going to blast through this, so keep up. And the categories I've chosen are family. So I just put the letters here, but family. The next one, friends. Now family is obvious now, but family, within family, that could be your intimate romance and lover, your partner, your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, also your children, your extended family, your brothers, your sisters. So family does include a lot. There's a whole load of stuff in family. But let's just look at, family. Then friends, and I've separated these on purpose. Sometimes they're put together. But I tell you what, you can work, and from experience, I chose to make sure that I had that balance with my family, that I was spending good quality time with my family. Having spent 20 years in the corporate world, and that being shot to pieces is something I've really worked on. But what I found over a period of time was that what happened is I, not consciously, but I kind of neglected my friendships. I was so focused on getting the balance right, and it was the most important thing to me. But at some point, I then went, oh, you know what? I'm not seeing my friends as much, and there's a deep connection there, and it's something I need in my life. So just by looking at it like this, all of a sudden you go, oh, I do actually. You know what? I would like to spend more time with my friends. So family, friends, contribution. This is an interesting one. Contribution is, some of you might support a charity, do some volunteering work, donate to things, donate your time, some kind of contribution beyond yourself, beyond your work. It's not work, beyond yourself, beyond your family, beyond your friends. It's kind of that wider contribution to society, to your community. And again, some people, this really lights them up. So it's so important. Sometimes that's more important than maybe work. But for some people, it's not so important. But we've got to get it on there to get an understanding of where it is. And as an example on this is that I often help, as you know, or probably know, I help a lot of stressed people and overwhelmed people. And essentially it's about work and then family. And we work through these things, and we go through lots of things to help them reduce that stress and get more in control and get that balance right. And as part of that process, though, what often crops up is contribution. And they go, oh, I used to do volunteering. I used to go to the old nursing home and sit with somebody who didn't have anybody to, didn't have any family. And I just spent an hour with them. Or I used to really support this charity that's really close to my heart because it's some personal thing, and I don't do that anymore. The amount of people I've spoken to, and they're so busy, and they're managers and senior managers and business owners, and they're busy, and they're trying to get that balance, and they realize, and they look at their past, and we're going to do a little bit of this later on, but they suddenly realize that contribution, whatever that means to them, is something that's missing from their life, and it means so much. And if we didn't do something like this, it's unlikely to have cropped up. So this is why, I've explained this one a little bit more, but it's from my experience of how important this one has become to people, especially in today's world when they want to make a difference. And it's not necessarily all about the work. So contribution. The next one, finances. That's quite important. It's also the biggest stress in the Western world. Okay? There you go. But finances, money, anything to do with money, your relationship with money, your bills, your income, passive income, your wealth, however it is, your investments, finances, so important as an aspect of life. Neglect it at your peril, right? It can be very stressful when we kind of bury our head in the sand and go, oh, I don't know, I'm not an expert at finances, it's a bit awkward, I don't like talking about it, and then we don't talk about it and then we make it worse. So finance is an important chunk of life. I've got work, okay? Work is another one, and for some people they call it work, some they call it business, some they call it their mission, their purpose, or their career. Whatever it is that you do in that level, in that capacity. You know, for me, it's definitely, I used to have a job, I used to have a career, now I've got a mission and a purpose. But it fits into that work that I do. This helping you right now. The next one is health. Okay, health. If we don't have health, do we really have anything? Right? You can have all the money in the world, but if you haven't got your health, then you're going to feel pretty miserable and you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to experience life to the fullest. Fun. I got fun. That's right. Fun, pleasure, you time. It's not all about work and family. Family are amazing. Family, we want to spend time with them. But it's so important to, what do they say? Kind of fill up your cup as well. You can't help others with an empty cup. So have fun, pleasure. What lights you up? What fun things do you want to do in life? You know, how do you switch off? Is it the outdoors, or is it Lego? Is it movies? Whatever it is it snowboarding, rock climbing? I can't do it my list. All right. What is it? And often, again, when you're busy, what I find is people are lacking some of this stuff that really lights them up. And then they wonder why they're miserable, because they're spending so much time in some of these other areas that they're not lighting themselves up. If they do that, all of a sudden, everything else becomes better. So fun, so important. And the last one there I've chosen is growth. I'm talking personal development. Anything that helps you grow as a person. Mentally, you know, physically, it's kind of that health. So, because health, by the way, is your fitness, is exercise in any form. It's your hydration, it's your diet, it's what you're eating, it's all things. Sleep, your mental, your physical well-being. So it's all of that. Thank you. Learning lights me. Yes, it does, Deborah. I know you're massive into learning and that development, taking in like a sponge. And the important thing is then being able to use it, right? This is what lights us up. So thank you for that comment. So growth is so important, and it's more important than you think, because we can get so caught up in the to-do list that we forget that we want to kind of be better and do better. And it's not materialistic. It's not egotistic. As human beings, we evolve. We evolve over millions of years, but we evolve as people during our lifetime. If you are in the same place you are right now in 10 years' time, how happy do you think you'll be? If you look back in your life and go, nothing's changed. Well, that change, and change is often something that people don't like, but that change is development, is growth, is learning something new, hanging out with new people, getting inspired, motivated, trying new things, overcoming fear, all that kind of stuff, getting strategies and frameworks. You're here right now because you want to grow, you want to be better, do better. That's what this is all about. And the more you fill your heads with this stuff, man, you're flying. You see the world in a different way. And integration of it into wisdom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great observation. So growth, because growth is, you learn something. Anyone can learn something. We can do something right now. You can, and you have a choice whether you do something with this or not. If you've done it, if you just turn up and don't use it, you've learned something. But if you actually put it into practice, you get experience. By getting experience, you turn it into wisdom. And wisdom can help you, because you'll refine it, you'll make things better, but you'll also be able to help others. This is how we grow. And it's a passion of mine. It's what I do now for most of my time. So this is your wheel of life. So let's crack on, because this is just step one. This is a really simple thing. Hopefully you can now see there's a bit more to your life than maybe you thought. If you're just thinking, oh, it's work and family or work and friends and or work or health, you might have had these, but it's like, well, actually there's more to it. And maybe I don't spend so much time in some of these categories. Maybe I spend a lot of time for a lot of people I work with, they spend a lot of time, like 80-90% of their time working at the detriment to their family, which they know, but man, are they missing out on all the rest of the juice in life. So what I want you to do is, with your circle, whether you've drawn it or whether you've got the resources, I just want you to very quickly, don't overthink this. I just want you to give yourself a score. And the way I want you to do this, I want you to think the outer rim is 10, right? So 10 is like, if it was 10 on health, it's like you have the most extraordinary health in the world. Man, you have got abundant energy from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed. Anything can be put in front of you and you're there, right? So 10 is like your fullest potential, basically. And right in the middle, right in that dot there, that's 0. So if we were talking finances, it's like, that 0 would be you literally have no money in the bank. I'm not talking about you got a couple of quid. I'm talking about nothing, right? 0. So just give yourself a score. And how I want you to do it is kind of look at this as a scale. So it's like 10 is this outer rim, and then here is 0. So just in here somewhere, you might go, you know what? And I'm just going to go, oh, I'm like a 9 here. I'm like a 9. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you might go, oh, I don't know, fun. Actually, I'm not having as much fun as I'd like. It's probably down here somewhere. And then family. Well, I do spend quite a bit of time with my family. So maybe it's that. Oh, man, friends have really... Oh, geez. I really need to do something about that. Contribution. Oh, man, I love doing that stuff. But I really haven't done hardly any of it. Oh, and it's eating me up. And you go, what else we got? We got finances. We go, well, you know what? I'm kind of middling on finances. I probably could pay more attention and learn more. It's kind of middling. You might go, work. Well, I love the passionate work that I do. You might go, I mean, some people, you do this and it's like, dirty, I hate it, and I spend lots of time with it. But it's kind of what amount of time and passion have you got for it? Well, work feels like kind of like up here maybe. And you got your health, and I kind of middling on health. You go, oh, okay. So I want you to sort of do this. Can you see that? I just want you to just draw a line. Don't overthink it. Just literally go, oh, gut feeling, my health. I feel about my health. Bit of middling. Work, I really love that. And, I'm spending a lot of time doing that. Oh, man, I don't spend as much time as my family. Just really quickly do it. Give me an A-OK when you've done it. Okay? And then we can move on. Because what you're going to do... The beauty of this, you're going to think, well, it's okay, Martin. So we've got the perspective on life. We've got the categories of life. But here's the thing. If you look at look at mine, it's all over the place. A wheel is round. In your life, if you want a smooth ride in a car or on a bike, right, the wheel is round and it feels pretty good. The wheel of life is all about that. It is about not having these extremes. So if you then connect them all, you go, okay, I got like this up here. That's pretty. Oh, flipping heck, flat tire. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Oh, I'm up here again. Oh, this is pretty good. Oh, I'm kind of middling up here. Oh, good grief, I'm down here. And oh, I'm up here again. All of a sudden, I look like Ireland, I think. That doesn't look circular. It doesn't look like a wheel. Right? So what this does is just that very quick visual. I mean, it's a little bit crude, but it gives you an essence of what your life is like. When we feel a bit overwhelmed, a bit stressed, a bit on edge, and sometimes we know what it is, and sometimes we don't know what it is. But we just feel like, life just feels a bit out of balance, out of kilter, we might say. Adam Brooks is in the house. Oh, thank you, my friend. Pure gold. Thank you. Adam Brooks, my brother from another mother, my coach, my mentor, my dear friend. Thank you. So this, right? Here we are. If you had a wheel like this that looks like Ireland, it's no wonder your life may feel out of balance, out of kilter. Because there are certain elements that you might think, I'm flying at work, I'm flying with family. But all of a sudden, maybe you're not spending time with your friends. Maybe that contribution that you really wanted to make, the volunteering, the helping at the charities, you're not doing that, and that's the stuff that lights you up. And maybe you're not having the fun that you want in life. Maybe you're not going outdoors and doing all the things that you want to do. And all of a sudden you go, geez, it's no wonder This is the beauty of this model. However you use it, this is how I use it. To stand back and go, geez, life is more than just work and life, work and family. There's so much more that can help you have a more balanced life. So the idea is that we stop being like Ireland here. Nothing against Ireland. But we want to try and smooth things out. Because the smoother this is, the smoother our ride in life is going to be. Does that make sense? Give me a hell yeah if it makes sense. And this isn't, caveat, this isn't about trying to get it as a 10 all the time. Come on, that's completely, unrealistic. But it is just about what do we have some kind of balance? And are we being deliberate and intentional about where we're spending our time? Because this is the thing, we get so busy with life and work and all that kind of stuff that we don't spend time deliberately in areas of our life. The whole point of this step one is to step back, get some perspective, just look at how balanced or imbalanced your life is and write some notes down here. What has it told you? What's it told you about the balance and imbalance of your life? I mean, what does yours look like? Sometimes I see this and it looks like Texas, right? If you're lucky, it might kind of look like a bit of a lumpy circle. Give us, I tell you, if you if you've got, what shape is yours? What shape is your wheel of life? Is it like a, I don't know, like a walking stick, or is it like a cup, or some landmass? What does it tell you about where you might want to spend your time? What does it tell you about where you might want to focus some of your time? When we're looking at 2022, we're saying about we want to make it extraordinary. We want to improve on things. We want to focus on things and actually see them through. Not 2 weeks later, like a New Year's resolution, and it doesn't happen. All right. Welcome. So, what has it told you? Again, some people have come into this training and come into January and they know what they want to work on. Instantly, they know what they want to work on and they're going to go for it. Some people are a little bit not sure, or some people think they're sure, and then they see something like this and they go, geez, you know what, this has sparked something. And the contribution one is something that keeps cropping up with me, with clients and people that I'm helping and supporting. And it's great because once we're aware of it, we can do something about it. No such thing, in my opinion. Sometimes you spend more time in one area, other times you switch the focus. You're right, Seville, you do. You can't have a perfect circle all of the time because, it doesn't work like that. But what you're trying to do is just balance things out. And if you've identified something's important to you, which maybe you've neglected subconsciously or consciously, then you can then do something about it. So when we're looking at the rest of the year, we're going, right, okay, I want to spend a bit more time. I'm not going to spend every week an hour there, or I'm not going to even spend, an hour a day there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to intentionally do something, and it may be weekly, it might be monthly, but I'm going to help address the balance. So this is step one, and I hope you found that. If you found that useful, please just drop a message, drop a comment to say, yes, that was useful. I've got some clarity. Thank you very much. All right, I'm getting some hearts. Thank you so much. Agreed. Excellent. Right. So that was step one. Okay. Finding the balance. Like I said, most people doing that, like if they're looking at New Year's resolutions or goal setting or their vision for the year, they don't start with this. They just go with what do I want to improve on and then do the action plan. But they can miss the goal here because if their life's out of balance, guess what? They can go, I'm going to work on this. But this thing that they've missed is the thing that keeps nagging at them, keeps making life feel on edge. So if we do this step first, it can really help us. It can either just cement what we want to work on, or maybe give us a clue of, oh, actually, there's these two things I thought I wanted to work on, so I'll work on those, but there's this other thing. So hopefully that has been useful. I'm just going to move Ireland out of the way. There we go. Okay, right. Excellent. So that was that step one. Complete. Well done, everybody. Step one. So let's go on to step two. And we want to do this relatively quickly, okay? Step two is simply, right, if that's our life, if that's our balance, and if you've already come with some kind of preconceived ideas about what you want to improve on, what are they? Okay, so on your sheet, you go, I'm encouraging you to look at 3 things. Just 3 things. I'm just giving you 8 categories in life, and you're going, oh yeah, but I want to work. if you try and work on 8 categories of life, 12 categories of life, bearing in mind that some of these things have also got lots of categories within them, like family, you know, my intimate relationship, my children, my brothers, my sisters, my aunties, my uncles, my mum, my dad, right? If you try and do it all, if you try and do a massive long list, it becomes a big old to-do list that you're not going to get through, that's going to feel like a chore, that's not going to light you up, and it's not going to be manageable. And bottom line, you know, in 2 weeks' time, you won't have made progress, and that's going to destroy you. You're going to feel so bad about that because you've gone in with really good intention. So I'm going to encourage you, 3 things that you would like to improve on this year. And maybe the Wheel of Life has just helped you get a little bit of clarity. So I want you to write them down, and I don't want you to get them perfect. Right? This isn't about being perfect. In fact, perfect is a really low standard because you just can't attain it. I just want you to give it a feel. But here's something I want you to think about. I want you to word it in a way that lights you up. Here's what I mean. A lot of people come into a new year and they go, I want to get fit. How exciting, how motivating, how inspiring is it to go, I want to get fit. I want to work on my fitness. It's not very exciting. So I want you to use all your lovely verbs and your nouns and all your descriptive words, right, to bring this to life. If fitness is something you want to work on, I want to work on my fitness. Cool. What is it that you want? What's that outcome that you want? I want an extraordinary level of energy that allows me to do amazing impact at work and do whatever the heck I want outside of work. Something like that, right? That is far better than, I want to get fit. When you think of the thing that you want to work on, it's going, I'm going to have this extraordinary amount of energy. It's also going to dictate what you do to get that. For some people, it's the balance in life, right? So I want to work on the balance. I want to have better balance in life. I don't want to stress so much at work. It's like, great. Well, that's still not very exciting. It's a thing, but it's not very exciting. So if we use our descriptive words, people, we could go, you know what? I want to have an extraordinary impact at work in less hours and then spend an incredible quality of time with my family where we connect and bond on a level that hasn't been seen before. Right? And I know I'm over-egging this, but I want you to really get passionate and excited about the thing that you want to work on. This is one of the things that trips people up. They come up with stuff that they're just not passionate about. And the way they describe it, the language they use, doesn't light them up. I want this to be somewhere you want to spend time. You want to spend time here, right? I want to get fit. You ain't going to spend time there. I don't want to stress so much. You ain't going to spend time there. But if you can get excited about it in the words and the language you use, all of a sudden it changes your energy. It changes how you want to be, how you want to approach that thing that you want to work on. Does this make sense? I want to connect to Goddess daily, worship her, and with pure love daily. Holy shamoly, yes! Right, that's passion. I bet there's a really dull version of that, right? We don't want that. We want something that's going to light us up. I want to work with soul clients who are ready to embrace their true genius. Could have said, I want to work with some coaching clients. I want to get more clients. I want to help people. I want to work with soul clients who are ready to embrace their true genius. Man, that lights me up, right? The words and the language, it's not just for goals and what we're doing here. The language we use in life to describe ourselves, to describe what we want, to describe our family, our friends, the outside world, dictate everything. So use the great words, the great vocabulary that you've got to describe these things. 3 things, if you've got them. 3 things. Give me a heck yes if you've got the 3 things that you want to work on this year. And again, this doesn't have to be for forever, right? You might get 2 months into this, you're nailing it, you're into great habits, you're making progress, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what, that extraordinary energy, I've got it, oh, incredible, right? You might have that, and you're in the pattern, you're in the routine of doing whatever it is that's helping you achieve that. You may then go, you know what, when I go back to my wheel of life, this is now on fire, this is on fire, and this thing here, I just need to spend some time here. So then you go, all right, I'm going to work on this one as well. But you don't do it at the same time and overwhelm yourself. You do it once the other things are really moving. So this is the beauty of choosing just 3 things. You know, I could get really thinking about it and go, well, really just work on 1. But over time, let's look at 3 things that you want to improve in life. Right, I want to move to my home country where your heart, soul, yeah. I know that's something that you've got, and that's a massive vision for yourself. You could say, I want to move countries. I want to move home. I want to live in a better place. I want to live in a better house. You could say that, and you could even describe the house. But again, it's not going to light you up. But you want something more. So I love that subject. So everybody, have you got your 3 things? If you haven't, you're watching on the replay, you can just pause it, okay? Aaron Brooks is still in the house. It's the best Monday lunch I've had for weeks. Thank you, my friend. Yes, it will be on replay. You will be able to come back. Thank you for supporting. Right, step 2. This was step 2. 3 areas that you want to work on because they're manageable. 3 because they're manageable, but also word them in a way that's going to light you up. Okay, so we've got the 3 things. Okay, step 3. This is going to be fun, okay? Yeah, this is going to be fun. So I'm going to take you through, this is unconventional now. And you remember I said at the beginning, some of this is conventional and some of it is a bit unconventional. One of my favorite stories, I got 2 top books in the world, right? That are my favorites. I can never choose between the 2. But one of them is A Christmas Carol, okay? It is not just a great Christmas story. It is, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the greatest coaching book ever written. And that might sound a little bit strange, but we're going to use A Christmas Carol, the premise of it, to help you now take those things that you want to work on and make them crystal clear, make them passionate beyond what you've already got, and then figure out what you're going to do to make those things happen. And what we're going to do, the premise of it is, and don't worry, because there is a coaching process that goes deep and it can be quite traumatic. That's not what we're going to do here. What we're going to do is we're going to take each of the things, the areas that you want to work on, and we're probably going to have time to do, probably whiz through 1 in this session, then you can do the others afterwards. But if you've got time, jot as much down as possible. We're just going to go through what could the past, the present, and the future teach us, help us with what we're doing right now. Not to choose the thing, because we've already chosen what we want to work on, but how we can see it through. And we just want to bring a few of these things in to really help you. So, the past, okay? And people say, don't live in the past and all that kind of stuff. And I get that, if I spend more time living in the past, I spent 20 years in depression and anxiety and burnouts, and, it's not a fun place to revisit. But what this is all about is, what are the lessons we can learn? So there are 3 things I want us to consider. And again, you can just work this out. If you've got the worksheet, it's right there. It tells you it's got a box for each one. So the first thing, so take the first area that you want to work on, okay? And I want you to ask yourself, what is a story that's holding you back? Okay, what is a story that you tell yourself that's holding you back? I'll give you some examples. So again, fitness is often something that we want to work on, and our health. But a story might be, you know what, I'm just not a runner. And their vision of fitness is, well, I've got to be able to run. And the story you tell yourself is, but I'm not a runner. Oh man, my knees hurt. I'm not a runner. And so what they do is they use that as then the reason for not working on their fitness. Well, there's 1,001 different things that you can do in terms of fitness. But their mindset is, the story I'm telling myself is, I can't run. Or I hate the gym. So they see fitness as going to the gym. I hate the gym. All those sweaty people all in one place, and all the machines and that I don't understand. And then they don't do it. Okay? So it's really important to understand the stories that we tell ourselves. Some of the people that I help with the balance in life, that work, they're working a lot of hours, they're very stressed, they're not spending time with their family. One of the stories they'll tell themselves is, I can't have this job, I can't be in this industry, this profession at this level and not be completely stressed and spend quality time with my family. I just can't do it. It's not how it works. It's not how it is in the industry. I can't have this level of income and influence and have these other things. I can't have it all, Martin. It's a story that you're telling yourself because it's not true. There are ways and means you can be more efficient, more effective. You can get more done, have a bigger impact with less hours that you can then choose to spend doing other things. Be that family or friends or contribution or all those other things in the wheel of life. It's the story that you're telling yourself though, and all of a sudden it becomes a norm and you go and shut off to it. So there are stories. So have a think about this thing that you want to improve on, because you know what? Chances are you might want to have improved this before. There might be things in this that you've tried before. So why didn't you? What was the story that you were telling yourself? I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the support. I didn't have the finances. I didn't have the background. I didn't have the education. What is it that could potentially trip you up? And if you're there going, nothing, Martin, actually I'm feeling really good about this. Cool, right? If you've got all three and you're like that, brilliant. Just have a little think. And the reason is, if we can get clear and passionate and put some action steps in place, but if there is a story holding you back, you will not follow through. If you're lucky, you'll get to month 2, not far beyond. Because the old story is dragging you back. It's a bit like the chains in A Christmas Carol, right? Dragging Marley back. You've got to address the story, but we've got to understand what the story is. Okay, so and there's a whole load of stuff that we could do to then help with that. We haven't got time for that, but I want you just to identify it so that then you're going, you know what? Yeah, that is holding me back. And I want you to just really quickly reword it. So if it was about that balance in life, right, between the work stuff and the family. So somebody's saying, I can't have this job, be in this industry, have this influence, and have family time as well. I just can't do it. You know, you might go, screw this. I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to set the benchmark. I'm going to prove that you can have this job, have a massive impact, and spend quality time with my family because I am working to live, not living to work. You might just change it around. Just change the language again that you're using to go, right, here's the story that's holding me back. I'm just going to mix that up and just be exuberant about it. Just go, you know what? To hell with it. You're not holding me back anymore. Like I said, there are other things that we can do to help you with that. But I just want you to play around with it and go, no more. Enough is enough. This is really important to me. And nothing's going to get in my way. Because a lot of the stories that we tell ourselves, they're just fiction. They're not fact. How's this? How are we doing? I am not who my dad says I am. Thank you for sharing, Sevda. Really important. I know the backstory. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about, you know, in the past, and it could be our family. It could be, you know, managers in the past, our ex-bosses, friends, complete strangers telling us what we can and can't do, who we are and who we aren't, who we could be, should be, can't be. There's a lot of that, and we all have got that. If we can just identify some of the stuff that's holding us back on this one thing that we want to improve on, then we can do something about it. And very often it's kind of like hashtag enough is enough. Screw that. This is my life. I'm going to be the one that regrets not doing this. Nobody else. And it's the end of my days and I'm looking back, I will regret the stuff I did not do. And I will realize that nobody else had power over me. Nobody else had influence over me. This was my life. I should have lived it as I wanted to. Life on my terms is what an extraordinary life is all about. Life on your terms, not letting the outside world dictate your happiness and quality of life. So what's the story that's holding you back? And then find some words to reframe that. I realized I never be who he thinks it should be. He has no idea about what's possible when running business online. Decide to move on. You never be happy. Right, there are people in our life sometimes that no matter what we do, we're not good enough. And if we spend our life trying to please them, we're never going to please them. We're never going to be good enough. So guess what? We've just got to make sure that we're following our path, not theirs. Because the other thing about those comments, thank you for sharing, is that why would you take the advice from somebody who doesn't do what you do, doesn't know your world, doesn't have your passion, doesn't have your skills, your experience. It's like, why would you go somebody that knows nothing about finance and get their advice about how you should invest your money? Or somebody who hasn't run a business before and get advice from them on how to run your business? Or I want to get fitter, I want to get healthier, and then get advice from somebody who's completely overweight, doesn't know anything about fitness. Why would you do that? But very often in our minds, we are doing this all of the time, where people are holding us back and they just have no control over us. They don't have the influence, the expertise, the experience, and they're not you. They're not you with your passion. They don't know what lights you up. Like I said, you'll be the one that regrets not doing these things, not them. Right on. Whoop, yes, yes. Thank you. So look, right, we're cracking through this. So story that holds you back. And you want to do this for each one. Like I said, you might have a story for all of them, some of them. But really, like I can't stress enough, if you don't look at this, then you will get further on the line. You won't be where you want to be. You won't be doing the stuff that you want to be doing. You'll be going, well, I was really passionate. I really write it all down, like Martin said. But it's this thing that's holding you back. So let's address that. Second thing I want you to look at is, and it can relate to this. It can link to this last one. Second one is, what can you use as fuel to make that improvement that you want? What can you use as the inspiration, the motivation? I give an example. There are things that happen in our life that can either, again, hold us back or propel us forward. So, in my world, the 20 years in the corporate world where, low level stress turned into severe depression, generalized anxiety disorder, insomnia, liver disease, burnout, self-harm, and a lot worse. Okay? I could stay there. That could be my identity. I could say, well, I am that depressed person. I am that person that is more susceptible to anxiety, and I could really go there, and that would then limit what I'm going to do going forward. I certainly wouldn't be here with you right now if that was the case. But what I've done is I've turned that into the fuel, the motivation, the inspiration. I've said, you know what? I went through hell and back. I didn't think I had the strength or the courage to get through what I got through, but I did somehow. You know what? The story I tell myself, because the stories can be positive or negative, the story I tell myself is, look, the universe had a plan for me. I went through everything I went through, even though I didn't think I could. Because at the end of the day, when I'd been through all of that, I could stand up and I could share my story and I could help others not go through what I went through. And essentially what that is not letting them go through the pain, the suffering, them, their friends, their family that I went through. And ultimately, what does that mean? If we can avoid some of that stuff, we live our most extraordinary life. We look at life differently. We have a different perception of life. We get a bit more balance in life. We live our life better. That's what I'm here for. That's what extraordinary life is all about. It's because I want to help you live your most extraordinary life. And some people are at different stages of this. They're suffering. We need to get them out of that. And then we go on. And some people are just feeling a bit, I'm not sure there's more to it. And we could do that. Okay, I use that as fuel, as inspiration, not something that's going to hold me back. And you may or may not have something like this. And you don't have to go through that sort of trauma, right? Thank you for all the hearts. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Everything you learn is wisdom. Absolutely. Everything you learn. If you look at everything in life, it had a lesson for you. A lesson for you so that you can live your life better, learn from it. And then a lesson, this is the real kicker, the lesson that can help others, you take it to a next level. Everything is a lesson. And if you treat it like that, then you will live a more abundant life, a more fulfilling life, a more extraordinary life. So, what could you use? Take your 3 things. Is there anything that is fuel? Maybe if you wanted to move house or move country, you're looking at where you used to be and it was a terrible place. Again, environment is something sometimes in the balance, in the circle of life. Circle of life, the wheel of life, circle of life, same thing. Wheels, circles. Sometimes the environment is really important. If you're in a pokey little apartment where there's gunfire every night and you can hear the druggies next door doing their thing and the police sirens are going off all the time, that environment is not a conducive one for you to feel like you're inspired, motivated, and could take on the world. But maybe there's been something like that in the past, and you use that as fuel. I am not going back there, ever. Done with that. I'm living on a whole different plane and a whole different level, rather than thinking, you know what, anything goes wrong, I might go back there. So, fuel. What could you use as fuel, as inspiration? And can you see what I'm doing? I'm getting you out of here and into here. Because if we live up here, it just becomes a to-do list of actions that we're going to take. If you go here, it becomes something far more, and you're more likely to see it through. That's why we're doing this. The past can show us things that weren't there before, that maybe we've forgotten. Scrooge, in A Christmas Carol, he went back in the past. They showed him that love was the thing that was missing. You remember we said in the Wheel of Life, contribution is often something that's missing. For Scrooge, it was love that was missing. Things had gone a bit sour. He'd lost focus. He'd focused on the money, and then he'd shunned love, right? I know it's a story, but this is what happens in our life. This is why the past can teach us. We don't want to live there. We don't want to stay there for too long. But what lessons has it got for us? What is the fuel? The next thing, third thing here, is what from the past could you reintroduce? Now, I've touched on this on the contribution one. People years ago, they were volunteering and supporting charities, and then they realized that they've kind of, in the business of life, they're not doing that anymore. And they go, my God, that was something that really lit me up. So is there something, and this thing that you want to improve on, that's from the past, that maybe you've forgotten, that you can bring back? And very often, if you look at something like fun or health, in fact, health is a really good example. So again, some people go, oh, the gym. Or, running. There's a myriad of things that you can do, but they don't improve their health in a fitness way because they've got this mindset of that. This is a really good one because, and it's a live example. So working with somebody and they wanted to do this, but they're not into the gym and they're not into running. So he just delved a little bit deeper, and guess what? From the deepest recesses of their mind, and it wasn't that long ago, a few years ago, they remembered that they loved playing tennis with their friend. Ironically, a friend they don't really see that much now. See, they stay in touch, but they don't get together as much because they both got super busy. But they used to really love playing tennis. Well, tennis is fitness. Tennis is a great game for fitness. You're all over the place. And by the way, any racket sport, table tennis, badminton, super good for your mental health because it's cognitive as well as physical. It's kind of ideal. He suddenly realized, so all of a sudden it was, actually, I'm going to get in touch. It's two birds with one stone. He went, I want to spend more time with the family. I'm going to get back in touch with my mate, see how he's going, remind him of the good times when we were at tennis. And it wasn't that they were good at tennis. They were useless. They were rubbish. They said they spent most of the time laughing at how terrible each other was. But they were getting fitness and they were socializing and it was enjoyable and they were moving around more than if they were just sat at home watching TV. I'm going to get in touch with my friend. I'm going to remind him of the good times. I'm going to see if we can do it. And guess what? Within 2 weeks, boom, they're having their first tennis game. And now they do it every Wednesday night. What have you got that potentially you could use from the past that could help you right now? And another one for balance in life. And I've used this for myself and other people. You go, a way of me leaving work on time was when I scheduled that we'd go out for a meal with my partner or as a family. And it really worked because I had to leave work. I didn't want to let them down, so we were going to a restaurant. Guess what? Get a couple of those in. All of a sudden, you're addressing your balance. You're using things that helped you in the past in the present. So that is the past. That is part one. We've still got a little bit, so I'm keeping on going. That's the past. Makes sense? So all of a sudden, what can you use in those things that you're going to work on? What's the story that's holding you back? How can you reframe that? What is some fuel and inspiration and motivation from the past that you can use to propel you forward, not drag you back? And what might be there's something that you could reintroduce? It might be a person. It might be an activity. It might be anything from the past that is to do with this thing that you want to improve on that could help you, that maybe you've forgotten, maybe that's faded over time, but could help you. Right, next one is the present, okay? Scrooge goes to the present. Now, this is so topical over the last couple of years. So the 3 areas I want us to look at is, what do you focus on? So we're talking about right now. Now, as in, not right now, because you're focusing on this, right? But in life, generally now, what do you focus on that you think could get in the way of the thing that you want to improve on? So for each of those things, the 3 things, you go, what do you focus on that could get in the way? And the prime example right now is the last 2 years, with lots of people focusing on the numbers, the pandemic numbers, government announcements, social media, the wider media, the news, the conspiracy theories, the science, all of that. So many people losing their focus on the quality of their life and improving their life by focusing on all of that. It is using up their time, their energy. All the conversations they have is about that. I've got people that in my circles that every conversation is about it. It's like, change the channel. You can't control any of that. There's nothing in your control there. So just focus on stuff that's in your control, and you're going to have a more abundant life. You're going to have more to talk about. It's going to feel better. So in terms of the present, what are you focusing on right now that could potentially get in the way of you improving this thing that you want to improve this year? Again, it's so important, because even with the greatest intention and passion, we can get so far in, and we're making a little bit of progress, but then we go into old habits. It's often why New Year's resolutions don't work. People say, I want to get fit, but they haven't figured out when they're going to do it, because they're still doing everything else as it was. But you can't just carve out an hour. You can't create an hour extra in a day. Something else has to give. So what do you focus on that could get in the way? Really important. Just jot those things down. Again, you don't have to write an essay on this. Just jot some notes down. You can revisit it. The next one. So what's the consequence of you focusing on that? Like I just said, if you're focusing on all the stuff that's happening out there in the world, all of a sudden all the conversations you have with your family, your friends, is all about that. They're bored of it. You're bored of it. All the negativity, you're absorbing negativity rather than growth, which is part of the wheel of life, right? What's the consequences of some of the things that you're focusing on that could get in your way? And it could be that. It could be, I spend time watching telly. I'm not saying don't watch telly, but if you spend like 8 hours on a Saturday watching telly, and it's not because you've scheduled something and you're doing binge watching the Star Wars movies, right, with your mates. If you spend a lot of time doing certain things, or just on social media, or whatever it might be conscious and deliberate about it, because it's the stuff that's holding you back. Do things your way, absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you focus on that could get in your way? What's the consequence of you focusing on? And therefore, what could you do to refocus? If you want this thing, whatever it is, the 3 things that you want to improve on that you've chosen, if there's something that you know that actually this could get in my way, what can you do differently? It might be, I'm in a habit of picking up my phone, and as soon as I tap that social media icon, I'm scrolling, I'm going to lose 2 hours. Right, so maybe it's a case of, and I do this, all the apps that are most popular that I used to just like tap and then lose time on, I stick them in a folder off of the home screen. So I've now, when I pick up my phone by habit, I've broken that habit now, but when I used to pick up the phone by habit, I'd have to then search for the apps. And by doing that, it just gives my brain just a little bit more time, because as soon as you click that button, you're sucked in. That's it. So if you've got a little bit of time before that happens, your brain's going to go, it was in that folder for a reason. You took it off the home screen for a reason. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to do that. And figure out what you're going to do instead. You go, every time I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and speak to my child. Or I'm going to go and speak to my partner. Or instead of that, I'm going to go and listen to a podcast that's growth. Or as soon as I do that, I'm going to drop and give me 20. Right? How could you refocus? What could you do that could, and sometimes these are really little things, but they can add up. So what could you do differently? Have a little think about it in terms of each of these things that might get in your way, and now is not going to get in your way. You're actually going to use that time, that refocus, to help you make the improvements that you want to make your 2022 extraordinary. That is the present, okay? Right, okay, we'll whiz through, right? We're nearly there. Nearly there. We need to go to the future. And this was the scariest thing for Scrooge, because he knew kind of the path that he was on. So when it comes to the future, what we're going to look at is, I want you to try and ask these 3 questions and write them down. Write the answers to these things down. If nothing changed, so this thing that you want to improve, 1, 2, and 3. If nothing changed in the next 12 months, because that's what we're looking at, right? If nothing changed, you didn't make any progress on it at all, what would the consequence be? How would it make you feel? What impact would it have on other people? Now I'm getting you in here now. This is because the second part of this, the second question to ask is, why must you improve? But you need to just go, right, okay, if we're having this conversation in 12 months time, and I wrote all this stuff down, I was committed, I was excited, and I felt good about it, and I thought I was clear about it, and it did mean something to me, and it didn't happen, I would feel, how would you feel? Honestly. What difference would it make to you, to your loved ones, to the quality of your life, to your lifestyle? Where would you or wouldn't you be as a result of not making the progress that right now you're so excited to make? My daughter not having the life she deserved. Wow. Crystal clear focus. Absolutely. Yeah, right? My daughter not having the life she deserved. And that's going to eat you up, right? That's going to feel, that's on you, right? I'm not putting the guilt trip, right? It's like, when we've got a bigger purpose beyond ourselves, that's when we really light up. That's when we really make improvement and change in the world, in our lives and others. So look at each of these things. If it didn't happen in the next 12 months, what's the impact? Go deep in terms of the feelings that has. And therefore, what that'll then do is it'll make you realize why this is a must. Write down, why must you improve? Why must you spend time here? Why must this be something you work on, and not just for 2 weeks, but for this year, and really make the progress, have the outcome that you want? What is it? Write all the little reasons, just the key words, just write them down, okay? That's the second. We got one more in the future, because we're now going to bring it all together, okay? Because all of this, if you know, wow, this must, because this is the consequence, and this is why I'm passionate, this is why it means so much to me, right? Get that out. Really, go for the heart, okay? Really go deep on it. There's another tool I use, 7 layers deep. Just keep asking yourself, why is this important? Why is that important? Why is that important? By the time you get to level 6 and 7, trust me, usually there's tears, because it means so much to you. At that point, nothing will get in your way. They can stick a big old brick wall in front of you. You'll go straight through it. Doesn't matter. You will find a way. It's often what is missing in anybody's goal setting, New Year's resolutions, anything they want to improve on. They haven't got it here to an extent where it is a must. So the third part of this section, the third part of going into the future, is what is your compelling vision for your future? I want you to write out, in 12 months' time, what is it? How are you living? How are you feeling? The outcome. I don't want about the house, or I don't want about the thing or the action. This is about what is the ultimate outcome that you're wanting. Somebody wanting to get fit. Getting fit is not the outcome. Having an abundant amount of energy so that they can take their children rock climbing or snowboarding or canoeing, or at a whim, knowing that they absolutely have the energy to do that. To go, oh, family, shall we go up the hill for a walk? Knowing that they absolutely can rely on their body to do it. That's the outcome. Not, I want to get fit, I run, I do the gym, I play tennis. Well, actually the tennis is the socializing as well. But what it's given you that abundance. What is it? The compelling vision. You have to look at this as an outcome, not just as a thing, as a to-do list. Does that make sense? I've got some more comments. It's important because I have knowing it is possible. I can do it. I have the dream of the life I dream of. Absolutely. It is important. But you've got to visualize it, right? It's a bit like your sat nav. You've got to know where you're going in order to then get the route to get you there. If you don't know where you're going, if you haven't got that vision of what it looks like, then, well, How do you know you're on the right path? The chances are you're going to take actions and drift and go over in this direction. So it's so important to have this compelling vision, this compelling outcome that you're looking for, that means something to you, that you can feel it and sense it, not just think it. You're more likely to want to go there. And, you know, when there's a roadblock, when something happens, come left field or whatever, you know, you'll reroute. Yeah, you'll still keep moving forward. Sometimes you'll make an inch, I call them inch days. You'll make an inch forward towards where you want to go. Fine, because all those inches, they add up over time. Sometimes you'll make leaps and bounds, but it's just a small progress continuously. But again, most people don't. They get to week 2 or month 2 if they're lucky, and they've made some progress, but then it all just falls apart. If you have got this passionate, this clarity and this passion and this vision, it is the best opportunity for you to actually make it happen. If you haven't done this though, chances are it's not going to happen. And that's heartbreaking. Because you are made for more. You can be more and do more and just be... This is about you, how you feel. This is about your family, your friends, the community, the impact you can have on others. Man, you're made... It's extraordinary. I see it. In the life I've had, I see it. Because I see life probably differently to a lot of people. You've got this inside you. So paint that vision for each of those 3 things that you want to work on. Paint the vision. That's where the action is. That's going to help drive you. And it brings together everything we've talked about. You now know about the areas and the balance and what's important to you. You've got clarity on those things in language that inspires and motivates you. You're going to use things from the past to fuel you and even bring some things in that maybe you've forgotten about. And you're going to get rid of those stories that are holding you back. You now know in terms of the stuff that you focus on. Some of this stuff you focus on isn't conducive to you living the life that you want to. So you're going to change that. You're going to do something different. You're going to identify that. And that's brilliant. And now you know that if nothing changes, you're just like, it's not even going to happen because this is a must and it has to. You feel it here. This is where I want to go. Here's the outcome I'm doing. Thank you very much. This is where I am. This, my friends, this is the session. There's just one final bit. And if you've got the stuff in front of you, the resources, there's just one part to bring this together. So, and I'll talk you through it. Got it here if you've got the thing. So for each one, right, it's got 3 boxes along, okay? The middle box, this is a 1-pager, so you can easily, because you've got so many notes now, 1 page where you can easily reference what we've talked about and what's important to you. I'm giving you a wave. Okay? In the middle, 3 boxes, okay, in a line, 3 boxes underneath each other. In the middle box, really important about the position, in the middle box, I want you to have your clear vision. So that clear vision we've just talked about, have it right in the middle. Why do you have it in the middle? Because your eye is drawn to the middle. It's like a target, right? And we're going for it. This is the thing that we're going to achieve, right? You get it? So the thing in it, don't put it to the side, the thing that you want, that compelling vision, that clear vision, stick it in the middle. That's in the middle box. So you should have 3 boxes of your compelling vision. Your eye will be drawn to that. Stick it on the fridge, stick it on your desk, wherever it is, right? You'll take a picture and put it on your phone. Use it as a screensaver. So you have your clear vision in the front, in the middle. On the left-hand side, why is it important? So all those reasons why it is a must do. All the reasons we just brought from the future. Why is it a must? You know, Scrooge, it was an absolute must because, you know, people were suffering. Tiny Tim, for goodness sake, right? And people's lives and how he was perceived and the good that he realized he could do. So why is it so important? So put that in the left-hand column. And then in the right-hand column, actions. How are you going to make this happen? My guidance on this. Don't be set in your ways. Don't go, this is the only way to do it. Have a range of options. 3, 4, 5 ways that you can progress that thing. And the reason for this is if you just do the one, if life gets a bit busy and things happen, because it does, if you haven't then done that one thing, you're going to beat yourself up, feel guilty, and before you know it, you'll go, well, I told you couldn't do it. If you have a range of ways in which you can meet it, that you can progress things, you're more likely to get some of those in a day, in a week, and you're going to feel a heck of a lot better. This is not about doing all 5 things. This is about doing, oh, I did that thing. That means I've gone forward. I've gone forward by an inch. Great. Next week, I might go leaps and bounds. Come up with a range of things that will help you with this thing that you want to improve on. Does that make sense? Again, this is something that people trip up. They go, I've got to do this. And then when that doesn't happen, it all falls apart. Give yourself some space. Give yourself some flexibility. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself options. You know, that balance between life. Maybe you didn't have a meal with your family, but maybe you just clocked off a little bit earlier. Or maybe you went and, you know, you're working from home and you spent an hour at lunchtime with them. This is why the outcome, what is the outcome you want? How is it going to make you feel? What's that impact? That's why it's so important. Because you can achieve an outcome in a great many ways. But if you get really specific about something, then you're going to narrow the ways, and you're not going to do it. So, on a piece of paper, 3 boxes, one underneath each other across the page. In the middle, clear vision for each one. On the left-hand side, why is it so important? On the other side, what are the actions, the range of actions that are going to help you achieve what it is that you want to do? This, my friends, and we've got, just got a little bit off. This is the session. This is not your traditional goal setting or New Year's resolution or anything like that. I've tried to take you on a journey. I tried to draw on all the questions, the insights, stuff from your life that you can then capture and go, whoa, I feel very differently about this thing that I want to achieve this year, this thing I want to improve on, and I'm more likely to do it. This isn't just I want to get fit. It doesn't happen. Okay, you've got all the tools here. You've got the process to go through that can help. And the great thing about this, you can do it at any time. You can do it now. And I'm sure you've still got some work to do on it. It's fine. But in 6 months' time, you want to do this again. You can use this at any time to go, you know what, there's something I want to improve on. There's something let me just think it through so that actually I can feel this and actually have it in a way that I'm more likely to achieve it. Now, just before we wrap up, very, very quickly, I know some of you now are going to take this and go for it, okay? You're going to go for it, nail it, and it's going to be amazing. Please come back here, tell us about it. Tell us about all those celebrations and all those moments where you've made the inch forward, the meter forward, the leaps and bounds forward. When you've attained whatever it is that you want, the outcome, you might even get there quicker because you're now more focused. Some of you are going to go ahead and do that. Absolutely amazing. Massive respect for you, and please do come back and celebrate with us. For some of you, you might be, and I'm going to put my hand up. For some of you, you might be like me, who even with all of this, potentially you know that left to your own devices, you might get a little distracted. It's possible. It's possible, right? I'm not saying all the time, but it's possible we might get a little distracted, might lose a little bit of focus, might lose a little bit of momentum, maybe a little bit of motivation and inspiration, even though we got all of this. Sometimes, you know, life happens, things come sideways, they knock us, and then all of a sudden we've lost focus. This is something that I know happens to me, and what I've discovered for me, and what I discovered for people that I support, and all the support that I have received, there is a secret weapon. There is a secret tool in the toolbox of people that are like me, and maybe you, that are easily distracted at times and lose focus, even though we got massive intentions. There's something that they have that helps them actually achieve what it is they want to achieve, that outcome. You know, and not everybody does have it, but the ones that do go on and achieve what they want to, they've got a secret tool. And so I'm really excited because I want to offer that to you. This is kind of like a world exclusive because I haven't told anybody else. So you here right now, the thing that makes a difference is having an accountability coach, or people call it different things, a strategic accountability partner or accountability buddy. Somebody they check in with regularly to help them keep on track. This is not full-blown coaching coming, I want to improve my confidence and I'll take you through the nine-step process. or, you know, I've got this stress and balance and take me through the 4-step process. This is not this. This is about both people knowing what it is that the other wants to achieve, how they want to do that, and then getting together on a regular basis, usually weekly or fortnightly, at a max monthly, coming together and going through it. And going, right, what progress have I made? Here's the 3 things I wanted to make progress on. What progress did I make? What did I do? What actions did I take? What went well? What didn't go well? No judgment from the other person, from the accountability coach. And sometimes it's about celebrating. Yes, we made that progress. Amazing. Sometimes it's just refining and just going, we just need to, you know, realign things. This thing isn't quite working. So what can we do? And sometimes it's like you've gone completely off track because something's happened. And we talk about what's happened. And then we just get you back on track and just get you inching forward. That's all at the bare minimum, that's what we want to do. An accountability partner, accountability coach is so important. I wouldn't have had the year I had last year. I wouldn't have had 500% increase in revenue, 500% increase in social presence. I wouldn't have had, you know, the 4-figure more following. I wouldn't have had the balance between what I was doing in my mission and my purpose and the quality time that I was spending with my family if it wasn't for my accountability coach, who I dial in with every week. So I've reflected on this and thought, you know what, this is the thing that helps. It helps me and it helps so many other people. So as a word exclusive, I'm offering it to you as well. I would love to be, if this is a suitable fit, if you think you're one of those people that, you know what, there's a chance I could lose focus, you have the opportunity to work with me as your accountability coach. And the way it would work is just a half-hour call. Like I said, this isn't full Monty programs and all that kind of stuff. This is a half-hour call and we go through it. You know, what to focus on. We'll get a little template, what focus on, what progress you've made, what progress you haven't made, what's gone well, what hasn't. We just make sure you're on track. And the beauty of this is, the way I'm gonna set this up is per session. So it's gonna be £125 per session, but you choose the frequency. You choose the frequency. And that might be a monetary consideration, or it may well be that you know that, crikey, 4 weeks left to my own devices, there's gonna be so much to catch up on. You can choose weekly, fortnightly, so that's 2 weeks, or monthly. So weekly, fortnightly, 2 weeks, or monthly. Half an hour session with me to keep you on track, to make sure all of this stuff that we've gone through right now, you're gonna achieve it. And part of this is sometimes we don't achieve where we want to get to ultimately. But I tell you what, I would rather be 70% further forward than 70% not forward, right? For things to stay the same. I'd rather be making all that progress. And if accountability is something that you need, that you go, yeah, actually, yeah, right, and you're right, just like me, then I'm offering you that now. And I'm going to be taking on the first accountability coaching up until the 31st of January. Okay, so I'm opening the doors to this for the 31st of January, getting that first intake, and then we're going to go for it. They're individual sessions, but you've got until the 31st to book a call with me, a free call. We'll go through what it is you want to work on. Get the clarity. It's going to be worth it just for that, right? Get the clarity. Make sure that it's all just as you need it to be, and that the actions are there. And then we can set up the sessions, whether you want it to be weekly, every 2 weeks, or monthly. So like I said, world exclusive, not offered this before, but this is something that is so precious to me. I have coaching, full-on coaching as well, but that's every fortnight. But it's the accountability coaching that really makes a difference. So offering that to you, I'll drop the link to book a call with me and just see if it's a fit. Talk about what we've done today, talk about where you want to be, what you want to work on, get crystal clear on that. And then if it's a fit and we can make it work, then let's do that, because I know, like I said, it's worked for me. It works for so many other people that are in my inner circle, and I want to help you have your most extraordinary 2022. That is it, folks. I know we've gone over a little bit. Thank you for your patience. I don't take it for granted. Your time, your patience, your engagement, your enthusiasm. I hope this has brought you the value that it was intended. I hope you've got that clarity. I hope you've got that focus. I hope you've got that passion. I hope you've got those actions. You may still have a little bit of work to do, but you have got everything now. And if you've got pages of notes that are your own, go and download the resources that might help you put a little bit of structure to this. It's been my absolute privilege and pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for showing live, the replays. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope this has really helped you. And if there's anything else that I can do, then please just get in touch. But like I said, that accountability coaching, world exclusive, book a call by the 31st of January. Let's have a chat. Let's see if it's something that can really help you, and let's get you crystal clear on making your 2022 the most extraordinary year yet. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I'll see you real soon.